Let's get started here. Last time we did start reading the section on divorce. Let's go back and start from the top of that section and continue from there, inshallah. And so the author says, Fasl section, وَالطَّلَاقُ ضَرْبَانِ. Divorce is of two types. Divorce is of two types. Sarihun wa kinaya, explicit and indirect. Uh, Indirect means implicit, insinuated, implied, not explicit. Explicit means frank, straightforward, meaning it doesn't mean anything but divorce. A statement that doesn't mean anything but divorce is an explicit divorce statement. And a statement that could mean divorce, but it could mean something else, is indirect divorce statement, or implicit divorce statement, or insinuated or implied divorce statement. فَالصَّرِيحُ ثَلَاثَةُ أَلْفَاظ. The explicit has three expressions. That is in Arabic. This is Arabic language. There are three explicit divorce statements in Arabic language. Talaq, the Arabic word talaq, the Arabic word firaq, and the Arabic word sarah. So each one of these means divorce, even if they have different root letters. Talaq has root letters ta, lam, qaf. Firaq has the root letters of fa, ra, qaf. Those root letters have the meaning of separating, being different, not being together, not being the same. And sarah has the root letters of sin, ra, ha. That has the meaning of being separate, has the meaning of parting ways. In Arabic language, these are explicit divorce statements. But outside of Arabic language, the way to translate these words would not necessarily become explicit in translation. Talaq, yes. Talaq, when translated, is explicit. It means divorce. So if a man said to his wife, "You are divorced," or "I divorce you," then this is explicit divorce in English. But if he said to his wife, "I separate from you, I depart you, I part ways with you," then that's not explicit. That's not explicit divorce. And ولا يفتقر صريح الطلاق إلى النية. Explicit divorce does not need an intention of occurring, of being enacted. An explicit divorce does not need an intention for being activated, meaning it only needs the wording, does not need the intention, only needs the wording. It is very important in our religion for you to differentiate between the wording of something and the intention behind something. Those are not always required. Yani, the intention is not always required to go with the words. For the words to be valid, for the words to be activating. So then, if a man said to his wife, "You are divorced," or "I divorce you," then his intention is regardless. Yani has no regard. His intention has no regard, zero. Was he crazy? No? Okay. Did his tongue slip? He meant to say something else? No. Okay. Was he forced? Did her brothers come to him with brass knuckles and baseball bats? No? Okay. So then he said that explicit statement of divorce. Does he know what the word divorce means? Yes. Then his intention is regardless here, meaningless, irrelevant here. His wife will be divorced. What if he were angry? Doesn't matter. Was he crazy? No, then his anger doesn't change anything. What if he was just acting? What if he was only pretending? Doesn't matter. And is this special to divorce? No. Explicit statements don't need an intention. والكناية كل لفظ احتمل الطلاق وغيره. Indirect divorce is any expression that possibly means divorce or something else. Yes, like if he says, go to your family, that doesn't necessarily mean you're divorced. Or if he says, cover yourself before me. Or if he says, you are single, you are now a single woman, that's not explicit divorce. Or if he says, you're not lawful for me, or I am not lawful for you, none of these statements is explicit divorce. وَيَفْتَقِرُ إِلَى النِّيَّةِ. It needs an intention. An intention to make it active. The intention to divorce, to make such an indirect statement active. Yani, valid. Okay. Any questions so far? Then the author says, وَلِلنِّسَاءِ فِيهِ ضَرْبَانِ. The women concerning it are of two types. Concerning divorce. What's it here? You should know that means divorce. But if you didn't know that this pronoun it here means divorce, then all you have to do is just take a moment to think about it and trace the pronoun back. Whenever you encounter a pronoun, if you're not sure what it refers to, trace it back. It usually goes back to the closest thing before it. It. Does it here refer to the women? No. Does it here refer to the intention? The women concerning it no. Does it here refer to divorce? Yes, refers to the divorce. The women concerning it are of two types. ضرب في طلاقهن سنة وبدعة. A type whose divorce has a prophetic way or yani, an improper way. Those are the women وهن ذوات الحيض. Those are the women who have menstruation. So, there's two types of women. One type of woman that divorcing her would either be in compliance with the prophetic way of divorce. That does not mean that divorcing is a sunnah, but there is a procedure, a prophetic procedure for the divorce of a menstruating woman. Or it could be, yani, if you don't follow that prophetic procedure for divorcing a menstruating woman, then the way you divorced her would be improper, according to the translation here. Bid'ah here means not in compliance with the prophetic way, contrary to the prophetic way. And how do we define menstruating woman? I wonder if anyone knows the correct definition for a menstruating woman. This is a technical term here. Menstruating woman is a technical term here. What is the technical definition of a menstruating woman? 5, 4, 3.
A woman that has not reached menopause.
Can you repeat, please?
A woman that is not reached yet menopause.
You just need to add something to your definition for exactness.
She's not rich. I mean, she's not old. I don't know. What?
Okay, let's see if someone can help you here. Says here, a woman who bleeds out of good health. No. 2, 1. So what you needed to add, Hajjah, is a tech. Here, hold on. Let's see. She bled at least once and not menopause. Okay. Yes. A woman who has menstruated at least once in her life. This goes into the definition here. Brother Rashid said she bled at least once, so he means menstruated. So she menstruated at least once in her life and has yet to reach the age of menopause. This is the technical definition of a menstruating woman. So, doesn't mean she is now menstruating. It does not mean she has normal menstruation. Okay, so if you have a wife who has menstruated at least once in her life and has yet to reach the age of menopause, then the way you divorced her either complied with the prophetic way or it was contrary to the prophetic way. فالسنة أن يوقع الطلاق في طهر غير مجامع فيه. The proper divorce, meaning the one that is according to the prophetic way. Let's say prophetic. The prophetic divorce, not meaning that it's recommended, not meaning that divorce is sunnah, meaning the way of divorce that complies with the prophetic way to do so is أن يوقع الطلاق, to pronounce the divorce or to make the divorce fall في طهر غير مجامع فيه. So it says here pronounce, to pronounce. But the Arabic says yuqi', that this word means to make fall or to drop the divorce. So if I were to translate it literally, drop the divorce, how about we say to make it fall? To make the divorce fall during في طهر غير مجامع فيه, during a period of purity in which there has not been sexual intercourse. During purity, during purity, without sexual intercourse. Look how much more simple that is. فالسنة أن يوقع الطلاق في طهر غير مجامع فيه. The prophetic divorce is to make the divorce fall during purity without sexual intercourse. A purity, a time of purity, that means not menstruating, a time when her period is off. And while her period is off, he did not have intercourse with her. This is the prophetic way. So then what does that look like? It looks like a man who wanted to divorce his wife, for example. But he feared Allah. He had intercourse with his wife uh, while she's not on her period. So then he refrained from divorcing her at this time. He said, I must wait now. I cannot divorce her now. Because although she's not menstruating, we were intimate during this interval of her not being on her period. I must wait now. And then, so before I finish telling you what it looks like, here, let me add more. والبدعة أن يوقع الطلاق في الحيض أو في طهر جامعها فيه. The improper divorce is to make the divorce fall during menstruation. Yani during menses. أو طهر جامعها فيه, or during purity, meaning she's not on her period, in which he had sexual intercourse with her. Yes. So, okay, improper divorce is to make the divorce fall during menstruation, or to make the divorce fall during purity in which he had sexual intercourse with her. So what does that look like? That's yani, like it says here. He was the one who was ignorant, or he knew but he didn't fear Allah, and he wanted to divorce his wife, and although she was menstruating, he divorced her anyway. So right while she was on her period. Or she wasn't on her period, but he did have sexual intercourse with her while she wasn't on her period, and he divorced her anyway. So how does it look to do it in a proper way? The proper way is, for example, that she was not menstruating, but he had intercourse with her at this time of non-menstruation, of not being on her period. And he feared Allah, and he had knowledge. And so he said, I cannot divorce her now, I must wait. So he waited, and then eventually her period came on. So he said, I still must wait. It is not permissible for me to divorce her during her menses. I must wait. So then her period went off. And now she's not on her period. And he has yet to have intercourse with her. So now that she's not on her period and he didn't have intercourse with her, now he might say to himself, now I am in a time where I can divorce her according to the prophetic procedure. And then maybe he'll do it, maybe he won't do it. And add to this scenario that I'm painting for you, that perhaps she would say, my period has gone off and my husband has not approached me. And he has been distant. According to the knowledge that I have learned, I am now suspecting that perhaps he is considering divorcing me. Look how that knowledge, the religious knowledge, is beautiful. So now if he divorces her while she's not menstruating and he did not have intercourse with her, then there is no sin. Question, what is the age of menopause? Is it the same for every woman? The age of menopause is over 60. Now I'm forgetting, it's 62 or what? It's over 60. And we're talking lunar years. If a woman were 60 years old, solar years, or 62 or 61 or 62 solar years, this means she is about 63 or 64 lunar years old. So what I remembered was 62 lunar years. That means she's going to be about 60, 61 solar years. Question, what happens if you don't have intercourse within the first 7 days? You mean the first 7 days of getting married? Of being newlyweds? Maybe that's what you mean. But anyway, nothing happens. Their marriage is just not consummated. That's it. They got married and have yet to consummate their marriage. That's all that's there. If that's the meaning of your question. So you can follow up with that if you want to. Okay, so that's one type of woman. So one type of woman has details. One type of woman, you might divorce her in a lawful way or an unlawful way. Which one is this type that you might divorce her in a lawful way or an unlawful way? This is the menstruating woman. And for clarity, don't forget, saying that the divorce was unlawful, meaning when he divorced her while she was menstruating, or he divorced her while she was not menstruating, but they had intercourse during that non menstruating time. It is unlawful, but it is still a valid divorce. So sometimes something is valid, although there is a sin involved. Sometimes something is valid, although there is a sin involved. A sin does not render everything invalid. Something might still be valid even with a sin. Uh, so this is one of those cases. Okay, so then what's the other type of woman? The author says, وَضَرْبٌ لَيْسَ فِي طَلَاقِهِنَّ سُنَّةٌ وَلَا بِدْعَةٌ. And the type. And a type uh, whose divorce neither has a prophetic way nor an improper way. Okay. Inshallah, you're patient with me as I make these corrections and adjustments. وَضَرْبٌ لَيْسَ فِي طَلَاقِهِنَّ سُنَّةٌ وَلَا بِدْعَةٌ. And the type whose divorce neither has a prophetic way nor an improper way. Meaning, you just divorced them. وَهُوَ أَرْبَعٌ. There are four of them. Yani, this type has four. This type has four. الصغيرة والآيسة والحامل والمختلعة التي لم يدخل بها. The girl, the menopausal woman, the pregnant woman, and the divorced woman with whom one has not consummated. Okay. So what do these ones have in common? As for the girl and the menopausal woman, they don't menstruate. So then the prophetic way to divorce or the improper way of divorce don't apply because they don't menstruate. And the pregnant woman, she usually does not menstruate, but she might. Nevertheless, a pregnant woman also, divorcing her does not have a prophetic way or an improper way because you're not going to regard her as a menstruating woman. Rather, you're going to classify her as a pregnant woman. She has a different classification. Might a pregnant woman menstruate? The scholars differ. The strong saying is that it is possible. Nevertheless, though, even if we take the saying that a pregnant woman could menstruate, in this case, she's not going to have the classification of a menstruating woman. She's going to have a different classification. What's her classification? Pregnant woman. So then divorcing her does not go by or does not have a prophetic way or an improper way. وَالْمُخْتَلِعَةِ. And the woman that was released. التي لم يدخل بها Yani the one he divorced, yani the one he never consummated the marriage with, in other words. The way the author worded this, uh, there's something about the way the author worded this. The rule itself, though, is that if a man never consummated the marriage with his wife, then he could divorce her at any time. If he never consummated the marriage, he could divorce her at any time. And any of these women, the women of this second type, this type that does not have a prophetic way or an improper way, this type can be divorced at any time, even the pregnant one. If you are a person who assumes religious rules and thinks that the religious rules should be something that crosses your mind, then you might assume that a man cannot divorce a pregnant woman. And in reality, he can divorce her at any time. There's no restriction. But why he can't divorce her concerning the menstruating woman, why he can't divorce her while she is menstruating, because he will make her time for waiting longer. He will make her have to wait longer to be able to remarry. Because if he divorces her while she's menstruating, her countdown, her idda, which is her countdown, it will not start until her menses is over. So if he divorces her while she's menstruating, he will actually harm her by increasing her waiting time, because her countdown won't start until her menses goes off. And if he divorces her while she's not menstruating, but he had intercourse with her during that time, why that's haram? Because he might find out later that she got pregnant. He might find out later that she was pregnant, and then he would regret that he divorced her. Had he known that she was pregnant, then, for example, he would not have divorced her. And so, and so the religion blocked the man from putting himself into that position, putting himself into that world of regret. The religion blocked the man from putting himself into that world of regret, made it forbidden for him to do it so that he doesn't find himself in that world of regret there. But if he did divorce her while she's not menstruating, but he had intercourse with her, he will not extend her waiting time. The reason for him not being allowed to divorce her while she's not menstruating, but they had intercourse during that time, is not because of extending her waiting time. It is rather to prevent him from something that he might regret. And right here, let me squeeze in a detail for you. It is not lawful for the woman. So, sisters, take note here and tell other sisters. It is not lawful, it's haram for a woman, for the wife, to keep the situation of her womb hidden from her husband. Meaning, there will be instances in which he needs to know the status of her womb. What I mean by the status of her womb, like he says to her, are you pregnant? Are you on your period? Did your period go off? She cannot, it is not permissible for this wife to hide this from her husband. It's haram. So know that. Now, on the other hand, if she answers him, then this answer that she gives him is what he goes by. So if she says, my period is off, my period is on, I'm pregnant, I'm not pregnant, then this is what he goes by. because who else is going to know? And it's not a condition to make her swear. So then, for example, here's a scenario for you. Some woman, she's tired of this guy. She wants to get out of the marriage. And she wants him to divorce her. And he's on the verge of it. He just might do it. And now she just found out she's pregnant. Oh man. And she knows. If he knows that she's pregnant, he won't divorce her. And then he asks her, "Are you pregnant?" And then she doesn't. And then she says, "No, I'm not pregnant." So he says, "All right, you're divorced then." So that was haram. The divorce is valid, but that was haram for her to hide the situation of her womb there in this case, or something else. Yani, what might motivate the woman to keep the situation of her womb secret is her wanting him to hurry up and divorce her. So if she's God-fearing woman, she won't do that. Any question here?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
If he divorces her and she keeps secret what's in her womb, is it still a divorce?
Yeah, the divorce is still going to be valid. The validity of the divorce does not depend on her honesty concerning the case of her womb.
But Dave, I have a question.
Is her
Okay.
iddah still when she delivers? Or she has to do something
No,
special?
her iddah is going to be over when she delivers.
Okay.
Mhm.
But if this is the first divorce, can't he still take her back?
Yes, as long as she's in her iddah, he can still take her back.
Now, can she decline him saying, "I'm taking you back"?
No,
Barakallahu fik.
Ameen wa fikum. And I think that's coming right now. The author says, or should I stop here and we continue next week?
Is this new chapter, Sheikh?
Yeah, this is a new chapter.
Allah, continue next week.
Okay, we'll stop here.
Is it a long chapter?
Is it a long chapter? Yeah, it's not really long,
Okay.
but maybe I should take my time with it though.
Okay.
We'll stop here. Ameen wa fikum. Is nifas considered like menses? Yes. He cannot divorce her during her postpartum bleeding. He cannot divorce her during her postpartum bleeding. Ameen wa fiq. Any other question?
I have a question.
Yes.
Because she had, I'm just, someone asked me one time, if she hides what's in her womb, then she delivers, still obligated to take care of the baby?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Because she hid what's in her womb,
Mm-hmm.
she delivers a baby. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
She's still obligated to take care of this baby?
Yes.
Hmm.
He's still obligated to take care of this baby. And in fact, I'm going to tell you something interesting here. Do you know what's the longest duration of pregnancy
2 years?
according to the Muslim scholars, not according to the non-Muslim doctors, according to the Muslim scholars? Not 2 years, 4 years. 4 years. 4 years is the longest duration of pregnancy, according to the Muslim scholars. This has been witnessed. It's not arbitrary. Okay, so based on that, this is a real scenario that happened here. A woman was married to a man. And then he was away from her. He didn't come to her. He didn't see her. He was not going to her. He didn't used to come home to her. She didn't see him, but he didn't divorce her. So she's a married woman, and as if her husband abandoned her, as if. She's still in touch with him, but he doesn't see her. Okay. So then it was long time passed. And this woman wound up having an affair. And then she got pregnant. She discovered she was pregnant. Let me say it that way. Then she discovered she's pregnant after she had an affair. And really, she was actually hoping that this would be a reason to make her husband divorce her. The infidelity itself would be the last straw, and then he'll just divorce her. It's a real story. So, so she's pregnant. She hadn't seen her husband in about 7 months. She hadn't seen her husband in about 7 months. Now she's pregnant. She discovers she's pregnant as if she just got pregnant. So according to the way things normally go, no one would think that this is her husband's baby. So what did the answer turn out to be when she had some questions here? The answer turned out to be that religiously, this is her husband's baby. How? Because she's still within the 4-year period. Even though she had an affair, Because if a woman had an affair and had a baby, got pregnant from the man she had an affair with, and nothing was done about this, then religiously, whose baby is it? It's her husband's baby. The meaning, what I'm saying is, what if, may Allah protect all of you, and me too, what if, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى, your baby came out looking just like your neighbor? Exactly, spitting image of your neighbor. Whose baby is that? That's your baby. And also, let me add for you, DNA test is not valid. DNA test is not valid. DNA test is not valid. And let me add for you, this DNA stuff they do to tell you who you're related to, and then you wind up, you do the test, and then you wind up contacting some people you never saw before in your life, say, oh, lie, I just discovered we're family, and everybody's happy, you guys all meet up and have a picnic. This is not valid. Don't do it. It's not valid. Lineage is traced through the father. Keep track of your fathers. You want to know your lineage? Get married, have babies in wedlock, and track the lineage through the fathers. That's the proper way. Question, who was that? That was the neighbor of Imam Malik. She had 3 babies in 12 years. Each time she had 4-year pregnancy.
Wa
alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So the husband and wife was separated for 7 months.
Yeah.
But they was during a 4-year period, she was pregnant during that time.
She was still within 4 years of being intimate with her husband.
So during the 4 years, they were still together. But in 7 months that he wasn't with her, she was pregnant at around that time.
Yeah. Okay. They were married. He never divorced her. As far as I know the story. I haven't talked to them in a while. He never divorced her. So he hadn't been with her for like 7 months. So 7 months is less than 4 years. So she's still within the 4-year time of pregnancy that is verified by the Muslim scholars. So according to religious law, this is his baby, unless he does something. And actually, he claimed that baby too. Claimed that baby. And he didn't divorce her. He claimed that baby and didn't divorce her. That's the last I knew of the story.
I got it, Sheikh. Thank you.
You're welcome. Question.
I'm sorry. Sheikh, before you go on, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He said this was the neighbor of Imam Malik?
Yes, the neighbor of Imam Malik. Yes.
MashaAllah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Question here. Can you explain menopause having an age? Yeah, just like menses has an age. So the earliest age of menses is 9 lunar years. And the age of menopause is over 60. We'll double check. It's in Tuhfatul Tullab by Sheikh Zakaria al-Ansari. Over 60 years is age of menopause. What does it affect religiously? It affects, for example, the rules of divorce. So what if she's 58 or 59 or 57? Then, yani, so let me put it this way for you. Didn't we say a menstruating woman is defined how? Menstruating woman is defined as a woman who has menstruated at least once in her life and has yet to reach the age of menopause. So let's say, for example, some woman menstruated when she's like 12 or 13. And then she didn't menstruate again. Now she's 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. She is a menstruating woman. Her husband cannot divorce her unless he can divorce her in the prophetic way. She's a menstruating woman. He consummated the marriage with this menstruating woman. His only option of divorce is to divorce her in a prophetic way or to do khula with her. But what if, yani, what if she's those 65, 66, 67? Now he can just divorce her because she's reached menopause. She's reached the age of menopause. She is actually not menstruating. She is actually not experiencing menstruating, and she reached the age of menopause. So we're going to say now she's not a menstruating woman anymore. So he can divorce her at any time. Whereas on the other hand, when she was below the age of menopause, although she has not been menstruating, he's going to say she's still a menstruating woman, so he can't divorce her except according to the prophetic way or with a khula. So, inshallah, if you want, you can follow up with that. Question. Would it be the same if a man had an affair and he is married? Would his wife be obligated to take care of the child? Well, his wife is not obligated to take care of her own child. His wife is not obligated to take care of her own child. What does that mean? She's not obligated to take care of her own child? That means technically she could deliver her baby. Let's say her husband's standing right there. He's sweating bullets while the baby's coming out. Then the baby came out and she said to him, here's your baby. Bloody and everything. Here's your baby. Clip this for me so I can go do something. I need to take a shower and take a nap. Yani, it's his responsibility, not hers. So, if she's not obligated to take care of her own child, then for sure she's not obligated to take care of someone else's child. Question, why wouldn't the DNA test be valid? Because that's not religious proof. Yani, how do you verify a child is someone's child? Well, for the woman, it's clear. The child came out of her, that's her child. But for the man, how are you going to verify it religiously? By marriage contract. By marriage contract. Yani, Religiously, if a man was not married to a woman and you knew for sure he was the one who made her pregnant, if we knew for sure that this man was the one who made her pregnant but they weren't married, then we're going to say religiously he's not the father. So what a DNA test going to do? Religiously, it's not going to do anything. Question, what is the prophetic way means? So you missed the beginning of the lesson then. The prophetic way is that if she's a menstruating woman, then he has to divorce her during a non-menstruating time that did not have any sexual intercourse. Question, so is it charity for the mother to care for her children? Yeah, she's not obligated. Who's obligated to take care of those children? Those prepubescent children? The father. Yani, what if the man wanted to have his child breastfed by other than the child's mother? What if the man wanted to have his child breastfed by other than the child's mother? He can't. Well, she said, no, that's my baby. But it's his obligation. That's your baby that came out of you. Yeah, but it's his obligation to take care of that child, not yours. Question, I was asked, is there another saying in this matter? Which matter? And also, maybe I could offer some words of advice. Okay, before words of advice, let me finish these questions here. Regarding the father taking care of the child, another saying? Like, is there a saying that the father is not obligated to take care of his own child? I never heard such a saying. He's the wali. He's the guardian. The father's the guardian. Question, what do you mean by take care? Financially? Not just financially. Yani, this child is an obligation on the father of the child. Who has to provide home? The father. Who has to provide clothing? The father. Who has to provide medicine? The father. Who's going to provide teacher? Yeah, the father. For example, Yani, it's on him. Originally, there's somebody has to be the responsible one. There's someone's going to be the responsible one. Most of the time, though, the women going to take care of their children. Allah made them like that. But we're talking here religious judgment. We're not talking here feelings, and we're not talking here preferences. We're talking if we want to go strictly religious. A scenario I gave you, this woman's giving birth, and her husband's right there, he's sweating bullets. And then the baby came out. She said, oh, here, you guy who all that matters to you is religious judgment. Yes. Oh, my husband, who? You say that nothing matters to you but the religious judgment, and that's it? Here's your baby. Khalas. Question, can a woman initiate a divorce? No. Not according to the Shafi'i school, but I'm not talking about another school now, only Shafi'i school. So no. So maybe here I can offer, okay, here's another question. What about stepchildren? Is the husband of their mother obligated to take care of them? Well, where's their father? Inshallah, you're going to be patient with me again. I do like that. I could just answer your question right now, but I want you to think about the meaning of the question, so that's why. Stepchildren, don't they have their own father? The answer is yes. So that doesn't mean it's not obligatory on him. He's supposed to come back. He has children. The obligation's on the father. The obligation's on the father. Well, what else is going to be? He says, is it going to be a charity for him if he took care of them? What else is going to be? He's not obligated. No. Yeah. So maybe I can offer some words of advice here before we go, inshallah ta'ala. Who's the one who's obligated to take care of the child? The father. Yes. A lot of times the women undermine the father, especially in case where they're divorced. The women undermine the father, so be mindful here. Even if you are divorced, uh, try to raise your children in cooperation. Sometimes, for example, father wants his child to do something. He wants his child to wear some clothing, or not wear some clothing, or not to have some haircut, or to have some haircut, or to eat something or not eat something. Like this, he's father. And maybe let's say child doesn't want to. So what the mother will say, she says, he doesn't want to. Instead of saying to the child, obey your father, she say to the father, the child don't want to. So, yani, don't do like that. This is a recipe for disaster here. Even if you are separated, say to that child, obey your father. Don't say to the father, I don't want to. No. And then the two of you gang up together, tag team. And father's there frustrated. No, don't be like that. Because he still is father and he still has rights over this child. Even if the mother has greater right over the child than the father. Don't be in a position where you are undermining the father, though. Don't do it. Yeah, it's not good.
Walaikum Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
What do you say to men out here now? Have these bastard children and want to take care of them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What should they do? Should they still? He want to take care of them as a charity. Should he say take care of them as a charity? But like if they was no, I'm trying to think. Of the word. When a child don't have a father, child
Mm-hmm.
father died. I forgot what you call it.
Orphan.
Orphan. You want to take care of the child as an orphan, or even though he wanted to do it as a charity, did he take care of that child like an orphan?
Well, if a man had children out of wedlock, as they say, and he wants to take care of this child, there's no sin in him taking care of the child. There's no sin in him taking care of the child. Just he needs to know his obligation, which is that it's not obligatory on him because the child's born out of wedlock. And also let him also know that the child does not inherit from him. So he needs to be mindful about the rules of inheritance so that none of the inheritance money is misappropriated. And if he wants, he can leave a will for that child, but the child cannot get any of the inheritance.
Yeah.
And also let the let it be known. Let the situation be known. Yani, maybe a man, if he had a child out of wedlock, he might not tell his child. It might happen. There's a story. The story of the three brothers, Muhammad, Muhammad, and Muhammad. I'd love to tell you the story, but it might take about 10, 15 minutes.
Good story, Sheikh. Tell it.
Okay, hold on, though. Let me see what else we have here. Can you elaborate more on why women can't initiate a divorce? Yes, because the divorce is easy, which is a mere divorce statement, like to say you're divorced. If the woman could do that, then she's going to do it immediately. Immediately. She might divorce herself the first week of marriage, or before even a week passes. So that's why the religion is the religion didn't put the divorce in her hand in this way. It's too easy. According to, here I'll mention for you, according to Hanafi school, the woman could mention in her marriage contract a provision to be able to divorce herself. Even there, you would see people who did that, she divorced herself right away. So that's why. Question: does the mother not have a higher status over the father? Yes, the mother has higher status over the father. Does the father, though, have status? Because what I'm describing is like as if you don't have any status. When the mother and the child are tag teaming and just leaving the father frustrated and flustered and treating him like his opinion is nothing. So what about the status of the father? Yeah, the mother has higher status over the father concerning the child. So would she then just say basically to her child what basically means, you don't have to listen to him. Just come to me and let me know. If you don't want to do it, I'm with you. I will be with you. I'm gonna tell you, no, 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 you don't want to do it. No, no, I'll talk to you later. Click. So it should not be going down like this. And you instill in your child the disrespect, not you, sister. And a woman is whether she intended to or not, instilling in her child the disrespect for the father. And if that's a girl, then also instilling in that girl the disrespect for the father of her own child to be later. Not only her own father, but then some man she's going to marry, for example, and then undermine him. Because what happens is that so many times the mother has so much compassion. Yani, basically, if I want to say it in soft words, I could say she spoils her child. And the father, for example, the man is not going to be so soft with the child. So then he wants something or he doesn't approve of something and the child doesn't want to. And the mother who spoils her child just says, no, well, you don't want to. And then you're going to, for example, over time, if it stays like that, you're going to just basically make the child accustomed to this. It's not good. What if the father did like that? Let's reverse these scenarios here. What if, for example, a child is living with his father, his or her father, and the mother wanted something concerning the child's well-being, concerning the child's school, concerning the child's medicine, concerning the child's behavior, concerning uh, the child taking a trip somewhere. And then the father just, and the mother said, no, not like that, like this. What if the case was that the father just tag team with the child all the time and he never says, listen to your mother, consider what your mother says, have respect for your mother. Wallahi, I'll tell you, in my own personal experience, I see the men are doing like that more than the women. The men are saying, respect your mother, more than the women are saying, respect your father. Even if he's not perfect. Even if he's not perfect. And I want to tell you, sometimes depending on sisters, what you might do with your child concerning the father, you might wind up finding this child turn on you when he gets bigger, especially if he's a boy. You might find him having something against you. Depending on how you act with this child and the child's father, you might find what you didn't expect, that this child that you were so compassionate to, you would think he's going to grow up and appreciate everything you did for him. He's going to turn on you. Question: is the child sinful for taking the word of the mother over the father? And no. If there's a case where the mother and the father differ, and whichever one the child obeys, the other parent will be upset, then the child obeys the mother. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the case where they are just uh, disregarding the father, even disrespecting him, giving him no regard. When he expresses his concerns about the issues, it means nothing. This is what I'm talking about. Rather, I advise you, instill in your child the respect for his father, even if his father's not perfect. You're not perfect too, mother. Can I answer your question? Let me see, where's your question here? Question: what statement should one avoid when talking about someone who has passed that is not a Muslim? Oh, this is not even, this is outside of our subject. God, give me a chance then. Give me a chance. Hold on. I'll come back to it, inshallah. Okay, yeah, what was the story? So, you're welcome. So there's a story about a man. He was on his deathbed. I'll try to make it quick here. He was on his deathbed. So when he was dying, he had three sons. All of them were named Muhammad. He named all of his sons Muhammad. So when he was dying, he said, Muhammad inherits. Muhammad inherits. And as for Muhammad, he does not inherit. And then he passed away. And then the brothers, they were confused. Who's the one who doesn't inherit? But now I'm just going to spoil something about the story for you a little bit. The real issue, though, is that they didn't know the rules of the religion. If they knew the rules of the religion, then actually one of them should say, wait a minute, you mean one of us is not your son? That's not how the story goes, though. Because if he's, why he wouldn't inherit? He should inherit. The son inherits. So I mentioned that I have the story for you when I was saying to you that a man might have a child out of wedlock, and then what are you going to do? You're going to tell him at some point in time the reality of the situation? That you were born out of wedlock and the religious judgment is this and this and this, whether it's a boy or a girl. So someone, they didn't know what to do. So someone said to them, no one can solve your problem but the clever judge of Baghdad. So they went on a trip to find the clever judge of Baghdad to go see him. While they were on their way, they came across a man saying, my camel, my camel. Has anyone seen my camel? So one brother, he said, your camel was carrying honey? He said, yeah. The other brother said, your camel was carrying vinegar? He said, yes. The third brother said, your camel was an old camel? He said, yeah. The three brothers said, wallahi, we never saw your camel. The man said, what? You took my camel. I'm going to take you to the judge. They said, we're going to the judge now. Come on. So they were on their way to the judge when they came across another man. He was saying, my wife, my wife. Has anyone seen my wife? So he ran into the brothers. One brother said, your wife, she was pregnant? He said, yes. The other one said, your wife, she was one-eyed? He said, yes, yes. The other brother said, your wife, she was running away from you? He said, yes. Where is she? They said, wallahi, we never saw your wife. He said, what? You took my wife. I'm going to take you to the judge. They said, we're going to the judge now. Come on. So they went to the judge. So the judge started with the owner of the camel. He said to the brothers, how could you describe his camel if you never saw it? So, well, what they saw was the traces of the camel. So the first brother said, well, I saw in the traces of the camel that there were drops being eaten by ants. And the ants, they like to eat sweet things. So I figured his camel was carrying honey. And the other brother said, I saw in the traces of the camel there were some other drops. Drops that were being eaten by some kind of fly. And these flies, they like the sour things, bitter things. So I figured that his camel's carrying vinegar. And the third brother said, I saw in the traces of the camel the twigs that the camel was nibbling on. And I saw how some of the twig was nibbled and some of the twig was left unnibbled. And this is the way the old camels eat. So I figured that it was old camel. So the judge said, wow. Well, okay, you have no right on these brothers. You have no evidence. So he ruled in favor for the brothers here that they didn't transgress. He said, now what about this man's wife? Your descriptions of her were even more accurate. So one brother said, well, I saw in his wife's traces that the heel of her foot was deeper in the sand than the rest of her foot. So I figured that she had weight on her back. So I figured that she's pregnant. And the other brother said, I saw in his wife's footsteps that one foot was straight and one foot was crooked. They weren't lined up. So I could see that she walks in a crooked manner, as if she can only see out of one eye. So I figured that she was one-eyed. And the third brother said, I saw in his wife's traces that, like how my brother saw how her feet were like this, but after every few steps, her feet would line up. And then they would go crooked again, but then they would line up. So then I knew that she was walking fast, and then she would stop to look behind herself. That's when her feet would line up. And then she would keep going. And she would be like she's trying to run while she's pregnant. So her feet are crooked, and then her feet would line up. That's when she would stop to look behind herself. So I figured she was running away from him. So the judge said, wow, okay, you have no right over these brothers. And then he did not rule for the brothers yet for their own case. He told them, you're going to be my guests tonight. So he invited the brothers to his place. And he had food prepared for them. And he made his servant sit with them. And he said, I'm not going to sit with them. You sit with them and you tell me anything that happens. So the judge did not attend. And the servant was there with the brothers and the food was laid out. So one brother said, this meat? What is this meat? This is dog meat. Then the other brother said, this bread? What is this bread? The woman who made this bread was on her period. And the third brother said, this judge? Who is this judge? This judge is a bastard. So the servant was like, whoa. So he told the judge. So then the judge, he went to the woman who makes the bread. He said to her, I need to ask you a question. When you were making the bread, were you on your period? So she felt shy. He said, I'm so sorry, but I need to know. So she said, yes. So then he went to the shepherd where he gets his meat from. And he said to him, how could you give me dog meat? Immediately, like that. He didn't ask him. So then the shepherd was shocked. He said, well, judge, well, you know the dog that I have that helps me take care of the sheep? Well, one day I found that dog mating with a sheep. And the meat that I gave you came from that sheep. So then the man went to his mother, the judge. He went to his mother. He said, Mom, who's my father? So then she was like blindsided, caught by surprise. And then she told him the truth. So then he went to the brothers and he said to the brothers, all of this intelligence and you need to come to me? How did you know all these things? So the first brother, he said, well, the bread was kind of tough. So I figured that the woman who was kneading the dough, she was weak on that day. She couldn't knead it well. Like she's working the dough for the bread. She must have been weak on that day. And usually a woman's going to be weak when she's on her period. So I figured she was on her period. The other brother said, well, this meat that you gave us, underneath of the skin, there's meat. And underneath of the meat, there's fat. And underneath of the fat, there's bone. That's dog meat. As for the sheep, underneath of the skin, there's fat. And underneath of the fat, there's meat. And then underneath of the meat, there's bone. So that's how I knew it was dog meat. And the third brother said, well, as for you, you're so-and-so. You're supposed to be the son of so-and-so, the son of so-and-so. But they used to sit with their guests. So I figured that you're not from the same tree. And you don't have the qualities of the ones who are supposed to be your fathers. So I figured that they're not your fathers. So then the judge ruled for them. And he said, as for you, one of you is also a bastard. Or else there is no reason for him not to inherit. Or else there's no reason for him not to inherit. And he said to them, and you all are intelligent enough to figure out which one of you it is. So that's the story. Muhammad, Muhammad, and Muhammad. MashaAllah. Yeah. And when I tell this story, I like to give my synopsis here. I think the one who doesn't inherit, Wafiq, I think the one who doesn't inherit is the one who exposed the judge. Because the one that's supposed to be his father did not expose him. So it's as if he's not from the same tree. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Here's a question outside of the lesson. What statement should one avoid when talking about someone who has passed that is not Muslim? And can one attend the funeral of a non-Muslim? What do you mean, what statement should one avoid? If a person learns the obligations and the sins, then he's going to know sinful statements and he's going to know permissible statements. They ask me, what statements should one avoid? These statements are so broad. I could say something to you, but I want you to think about your question. The statements are so broad, unlimited. How many things could be said? Many things. So when a person learns the rules of the religion, he's going to learn about what's halal and what's haram. So if a person learns, he's going to know what to say, what not to say. But if you want to say more exact statement, if you want to limit your, question, if you want to not make such a broad question like that, then perhaps I can give you a more narrow answer. Make the question narrower, I can make the answer narrower. I could give you more narrow answer, but your question is so broad that I want you to understand what you asked me. So if you want, I'll give you a moment to follow up with that question, but Now we're just about we're a half hour overtime. So if you want to follow up, make it quick. So in conclusion, brothers and sisters, concerning the advice that I gave you, sisters, if you have zero respect for the father of your child, don't instill that in your child. Keep that between, yani, keep that to yourself, yani. Let's say you have fine reason for it. Keep it to yourself. Don't pass it on to your child. So, because the mothers, they influence their children, and the children will like what the mom likes. Even the parents, the child's gonna like what the parents like or dislike what the parents dislike, and the child's gonna like what the mother's like and dislike what the mother dislikes, and the father too. But yani the mother too. So don't do that to your child. It's not good. Encourage your children to have respect for their fathers. And fathers, encourage your children to have respect for their mothers, not disrespect. What permissible statements can one make about a dead Muslim? Well, he can say, for example, a dead non-Muslim. He can say, this person is a dead non-Muslim. So I'm still giving you a hard time here. He said, can one attend the funeral of a non-Muslim in cases of both in a church or a home? It is permissible to attend the funeral of a kafir with the intention to remember death and without engaging in anything haram, like not engaging in when they want to do a prayer. You're not going to pray with them. Maybe they're going to hold hands and pray. You're not going to hold hands with them and pray, or like this. Don't engage in any of their customs. Just you see the dead person, for example, you remember death, like that. Even if it were in a church, that's not going to be a sin by itself without doing something haram. I just remembered also an example for anybody who's still here. Really quick.
Go ahead.
What happened one time? A brother and sister had they wanted to talk about some of their issues. So the sister was saying, I know how to take care of my child. I will be dressing the baby. And then he tells me, well, put a t-shirt on the baby or put a sweater on the baby. I know how to dress the baby. So she has a problem here. I'm the moderator. So I told her, okay, what's the problem here? He's the father. What's the problem here? He's the father. He's the father. The father is going to have the child's well-being in mind, isn't it the case? So why I'm mentioning this story to you, because she had problem with the father, the father of her own child. They are married to, had a problem with the father wanting to have something to say about how the child is being dressed or what to do with the child. And it's not to say she doesn't know how to take care of her child, but it's his child too. So why the upset here? And he's your husband too. So isn't it just win-win situation here? You're gonna then put t-shirt on the child, put sweater on the child like he asked you to. He's a father and he's your husband. So that's just also something I want to give to you to benefit you, inshallah.